All right, welcome to allaboutmaleenhancement.com. Some of you are watching this on YouTube. If so, you're watching it on my channel, All Bathmate Questions Answered. I just recently created a brand new blog and website to accompany the YouTube channel, and this video is going to be the main video on the homepage. So whether you're watching this on the newly created blog or website or on YouTube, either way, welcome. This is Matt Mitchell. I'm the creator of the channel and the website, and in this video I'm going to go over some of the top most commonly asked questions in one video. I mean, the whole channel is devoted towards answering various questions and concerns men have regarding male enhancement in general, but also more specifically this thing right here, which is a Bathmate hydro pump. Hydro meaning you use water to get the pump or vacuum effect out of it. If you're completely new to male enhancement and you have no idea what this thing is, no worries. We're gonna talk about it today in this video, as well as throughout my blog. The whole blog and website and YouTube channel is devoted towards explaining exactly what this thing is, how to get the best results out of it as far as increasing your girth and your length is concerned, and everything in between. So you guys, for those of you watching this on the blog, you'll notice there is a table of contents off to the right of the video, or off to the side of the video rather, which is time stamped. So if you want to jump forward to a certain part of the video, you can do that. This video will be slightly longer than my normal YouTube videos, as this is gonna sort of be a little more of a comprehensive type of video. But anyway, if you are watching this on the blog, there's a link to my long, comprehensive Bathmate review article right above this video on the website in orange. To the top right, you'll see a link right there that will take you to my long, comprehensive article review. So after you're watching this, if you want to check that out, very informative. It covers a lot of more intricate details, so I encourage you to read that. All right, let's see. So I've been talking about male enhancement, specifically the Bathmate hydro pump, this thing again right here, since April of 2019 on missionlifemotion.com, which is my main blog and website for men's self-improvement. That's when I wrote that article I just referenced, as well as did the video for it on my Mission Life Motion YouTube channel. So I have 3 to 4 years of experience with this thing. Okay, I did see significant results as far as the gains I made and the gains I've been able to keep. All right, I'm going to touch on both of those as we go through this video. There are air pumps, okay, that guys use to increase their size as well. I don't have any experience with those. I've only ever used a water pump, a hydro pump, okay? So we won't be discussing that in this video, but we will talk about hydro pumps. Now, as far as Bathmate, Bathmate is the name of the manufacturer that makes these things, okay? They're the largest and most well-known manufacturer of hydro pumps that's out there. They've been around for years. They've been proven to be safe and effective as far as getting guys the kind of results that they were wanting. They do have 3 types of pumps, which we're going to talk about at the end of the video, all right? We're going to discuss the differences between the 3 different pumps. They are subtle differences, but they're important. It's important to know the differences between them before you make a purchase, all right? So we'll hit those one after another at the very end of the video. Now, your experience with male enhancement, guys, in general, and with Bathmate, It's gonna boil down to two things, all right? Two main things are going to impact and have an effect on your experience with male enhancement and adding inches to your shaft, whether you're looking for thickness and girth or whether you're looking for length, okay? Because there's other devices that help specifically with length, all right? So male enhancement in general is gonna boil down to, number one, what your starting size is, where you're starting from. So if you don't know what your measurements are, I highly encourage you to buy a tape measure and measure yourself, both your thickness and your length, both, all right? And the other thing it boils down to is the experience that you may or may not have already with male enhancement. A lot of you guys watching this are completely new to male enhancement and it's not something you've ever partaken in before. This video is actually geared a little more towards you guys than the guys that do have male enhancement experience. Not to say that the guys that do have experience can't gain anything from this blog or my channel. They definitely can. But I've mainly steered the focus of it towards beginners and newbies, all right? So again, if you have no experience whatsoever at all, you're completely new to the idea of male enhancement, then you're in the right place, all right? But whether or not you have experience with male enhancement is going to affect what happens from this point forward. I mean, if you've never done it before versus you have experimented with it before in the past, whether that's through using one of these things or through manual exercises like jelqing and stretching, for example, that's going to affect the results that you can stand to gain. Bathmate specifically is more of a thickness device. It increases the girth, which is another term for thickness. You can get length gains from Bathmate, you definitely can. However, if you're only looking to increase the length of your shaft, if that's the main thing you're concerned about, there are different devices that are specifically designed only for length, and those devices are the Phallus and Forte, as well as Size Genetics, okay? Phallus and Forte and Size Genetics. Now those are more expensive devices, okay? And not only that, but they are much more of a time commitment as well, all right? Much more of a daily and weekly commitment of your time. So you really have to be serious about wanting to add length to your shaft if you're gonna make the monetary investment in those, because again, they're also more expensive. Bathmate is not a super cheap device. It's really not. I think for what you get out of it, I think it's well worth the money. So I don't think it's expensive either. I just don't, it's definitely not cheap. I mean, you got to be serious about wanting to see progress and wanting to see results if you're going to buy one of these things, okay? But yeah, I mean, it's mainly going to make you thicker. It's going to increase the size of your girth. So for me, for example, compared to when I very first time I started using this, I saw a little over an inch, actually about 1.25 inches of an improvement in my girth and my thickness, okay? 1.25 inches compared to what my starting size was. I've talked about that in other videos. But, and I did see an improvement in length as well, okay? Now, I had no prior male enhancement experience, all right? And for those of you watching this that are also in that same boat, that have zero experience with anything like this, maybe it's intimidating even looking at something like this, you stand to gain more. You do. You stand to gain more because you have more untrained skin tissue to work with, okay? And the more untrained skin tissue you have to work with, the larger your potential and upside is for making gains, okay? it's kind of like that first year of lifting weights. The best year as far as the results you're going to see when you first start lifting weights is the first year in the gym, all right? Bathmate is, in a lot of ways, is very similar to weightlifting and bodybuilding, okay? Both in that sense and also in the sense that your gains are made in the recovery process. Your gains are made when you're recovering between sessions, not while you're actually in the sessions, okay? Very, very, very important to make sure you're giving yourself the proper rest periods in between sessions, okay? Because that's where the gains are made. So in those two ways, it's similar to bodybuilding, and weightlifting. And just penile tissue in general has a lot of comparisons to muscle tissue. So there are two primary top reasons why I have chosen to make my blog and YouTube channel about the Bathmate and not about, a Peniment pump or, a Phallicin Forte or any other type of male enhancement device, okay? I've narrowed it down to two primary reasons, okay? Here they are. Number one, it's fun and it's easy to use and it's convenient, all right? Unlike Phallicin Forte or Size Genetics, which are length devices, those are not fun to use, okay? They're really not. I don't think I've ever heard one guy that's used those. Not that they don't work, because they do work, but they're much more of a time commitment. They're not very convenient, okay? Because of how much of a time commitment they are, and you have to, you basically have to wear those either all night or all day, depending on which one you go with. And when you have to go to the bathroom, you have to take it off every time. It's just not convenient. Bathmate, it's convenient. You put this thing on when you're in the shower or the bath, okay? 10 or 15 minutes. You can do it up to once a day, multiple times a week. I mean, it's designed for convenience, basically, for you to use while you're in the bath or the shower. So that's the first reason. And then the second reason why I talk about this thing as much as I do is because it works. All right? That's even the more important of the two reasons, is that it just simply works, okay? And guys have been doing reviews, article reviews and video reviews of Bathmate for years and years and years, since around 2005 or so. I'm not sure exactly when this thing came out. I want to say it was sometime around between 2002 and 2006 that this thing came out. But yeah, I mean, it's been around for years, and the reason I decided to even experiment with it was because of all the highly acclaimed reviews, article reviews and video reviews that I'd seen of it. And, it's proven to be safe and it's proven to work. One of the great things about this thing is that you not only see, with consistent use, you not only see long-term gains, but you also see immediate benefits. So how is that? Well, when you wear this thing, even a normal session is 10 to 14 minutes, right? Or 10 to 15 minutes is a normal length session. If you enter this thing with either a full erection or an 80 or 90% erection, even if you only wear it for 10 to 15 minutes, the after effect of that is something called the all-day Bathmate pump. And this is one of the best things about this pump, is the all-day post-usage Bathmate pump that you get. So what happens is, assuming that you enter the device with an 80 or 90%, or definitely with a full erection, for the next 2 to 7 hours, I'd say, you basically, your temporary gains mimic what your long-term gains are going to be, all right? For the next 2 to 7 hours after you do a session of this and you take it off. So you can take advantage of that by, taking that into the bedroom and your partner will definitely notice the difference. Your temporary gains essentially mimic what your long-term gains are going to be. Now, after the 6-7 hour mark, the temporary, you'll go back to your normal size until your next session. But that is something guys have been talking about for years, okay? The post-usage all-day Bathmate pump. It's one of the main things that guys like about this, because you can really take advantage of that 2 to 7 hour period and take that to the bedroom with you, all right? So that's huge. And even the temporary gains can net you, anywhere from 1/2 inch to over an inch of a difference compared to your normal size. So I don't care who you are, guys, that's a big improvement for anyone, all right? So I encourage you to take advantage of that. Let's see, and I did make notes here for you guys because there's a lot I wanted to cover in this little video here. So let's see. Now, another great thing about Bathmate is these pumps are very safe. No one has ever gotten hurt using this thing. They're very safe, especially not with the newer models, okay? Because there used to be old versions of Bathmate that didn't have this latch at the top here. They don't make those anymore. Now you've got the X models, but they're designed in such a way that you only get so much pressure, so much of a vacuum effect out of them. So in other words, there's a ceiling on how much pressure they can generate. So it's basically impossible to hurt yourself with this, all right? And Bathmate is a big company, and they had to do that. Otherwise, they would have faced numerous lawsuits by now. So the first time you feel the pressure this thing generates, it will take some getting used to, which I talk about in my videos here on the channel and in the articles on the website. It does take some getting used to because it kind of freaks you out a little bit at first, but that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to feel. That is where your gains are going to be made, is from the pressure, the vacuum effect that this thing creates. Very, very safe though, very safe. I promise you, you will not, as long as you're using it as directed and properly, you will not hurt yourself with this device. And every video on my YouTube channel, every video on my blog, and every article on my blog is designed to help you do that. So if you're new here, just watch the videos and you will have no issues with this thing at all. Now, you can overdo Bathmate, but the only way you can overdo it is if you're not using it as directed, if you're not using it properly. So examples of that would be using it more than twice a day, going longer than 20 minutes a session, all right? So wearing this thing for like 30 minutes at a pop. Don't do that. I mean, you really want to try to stay under 15 minutes, honestly. You can go up to 20, but you definitely don't want to go over 20. You don't want to use it more than one time in a 24-hour period. So use it as directed, all right? I did mention penile tissue is very similar to muscle tissue in the sense that you make gains when you're recovering. So it's so crucial to give you guys that recovery, give yourself that recovery time, okay, if you want to see progress. Another great thing about this pump, another awesome thing about the Bathmate, a positive side effect it has, is it helps combat erectile dysfunction, all right? Helps combat erectile dysfunction. Now, this was sort of an unintended side effect that I don't think Bathmate set out to help you guys fight erectile dysfunction with this thing, but as it turns out, it actually does a pretty good job of it. Does it do as good a job of it as things that were directly designed to combat erectile dysfunction, like Cialis, for example? No. And Cialis is awesome. If you guys, by the way, haven't seen the article or the video I did on Cialis, you can find that at missionlifemotion.com. But that's not what Bathmate's for, all right? Bathmate is to increase the size of your shaft, male enhancement, okay? Your girth and your length, mainly your girth. But again, an awesome side effect, in addition to the all-day post-bath, all-day Bathmate pump that you get after you wear this, is erectile dysfunction. It will help combat that if that's an issue for you. Okay, it's a nice little side effect that you'll also experience from this thing. So this thing, it's got more than just a couple good things going for it. All right, that's kind of nice too, because to have to rely on taking a pill like Cialis, that's kind of a pain in the ass, right? There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through sometimes to make that happen. And if you have one of these lying around, that's a much quicker, easier thing that you can combat the ED with. So let's talk about gains for a second. As far as gains, with consistent usage, guys, okay, basically what happens is your temporary gains slowly go from being temporary gains to being permanent gains. And this happens over a period of time, all right? It happens over a period of time. Now, if you're combining the Bathmate sessions, which I recommend you do anywhere from 3 to 6 sessions a week of this, the more sessions per week you do, well, I wouldn't say that necessarily. I'd say if you're doing about 4 or 5 sessions a week of Bathmate, you're gonna see the fastest progress, okay? You can do it up to 6 times per week, but I happen to think that the growth, the results you're gonna see will happen quicker if you're giving yourself 1 less session per week than 6, just because again, your gains are made during recovery. But if you use this thing 4 or 5 days a week, you'll notice that, your gains over time, slowly but very surely, are gonna go from being temporary gains to permanent ones. And if you combine it, what I was gonna say was, if you combine this thing with manual exercises, jogging and stretching, it's gonna go a lot faster. It's gonna go a lot faster. Now, this is not something I did. I wish I had done this. But you can see, guys that combine Bathmate with jogging and stretching see an inch of improvement in as little as 6 months. Guys. So, if you're not wanting to mess with the manual stuff like the jogging and the stretching, and by manual exercises, I mean exercises you do with your hand that mimic what one of these things does. It just takes longer, and it just takes longer to see the same results. These accelerate your results. Hydro pumps do. All right. Combining, if you have the time and the living situation to combine the Bathmate sessions with manual exercise sessions, again, jogging, stretching, you can take, what would normally take you, let's say 12 to 18 months, you can take that down to 6 to 9 months, okay? Your progress will rapidly accelerate. In other words, if you combine this thing with manual exercises. Now, you don't have to. If you only want to use this thing, that's perfectly fine. It just might take you a few more months to see the same kind of results, all right? So just keep that in mind. Now, on keeping your gains, you're gonna wanna have an initial blast period, all right? An initial blast period where, you use this thing 4 or 5 days a week, maybe sometimes 6 days a week, usually 3, 4, 5 days a week. I used it 4 or 5 days a week, okay, during my blast period. My blast period lasted about a year to a year and a half, where I used this thing religiously, consistently, 4 or 5 times a week in the shower for, it was about 14, 15 months if I remember correctly. After your blast period, okay, which you can shorten that blast period by combining this thing with jogging and stretching. If you just use the Bathmate 2 times a week. 2 times a week, maybe Mondays and Thursdays or Tuesdays and Fridays, whatever. You will keep your gains. You will keep all of your gains, okay? It only takes a couple sessions a week after that blast period to hang on to every inch that you gain with this thing, all right? This is what I have done since my blast period. On Tuesdays and Fridays, I pop this thing on in the shower, and I've kept every inch of improvement that I've gained since I started using it. So it's very easy to hang on to your gains. Now, what I want to end this video on, if you'll bear with me 1 second, is I want to show you the website. So this is my blog right here. All right, guys, so this is my website here, okay, allaboutmaleenhancement.com. And right here's the link I was talking about to my comprehensive review of the Bathmate pump. So if you want to read that, it's about 3,000 words. It's a pretty extensive article. If you click on that link right there in the middle, it's going to take you to the Bathmate website. So here we are. It defaults to the HydraMax 7, okay, which is the one I have. But that may or may not be the one you want to get. That's just what it defaults to. So anyway, here's the navigation menu up here at the top. If you're under 5 inches, you're going to want to click on that one there. Okay, if you're at a smaller starting size, or if you're between 7 and 9 inches, you'll click that one right there. Or if you're at a larger starting size, you'll click that one. So it's very easy to navigate around here. Okay, so between 5 and 7 inches, so a little on the smaller side here. You can see the different models. You got the Hydro 7 off to the left right here. The main difference between these three is going to be the power. All right, so the Hydro 7 will, as you can see, has the lowest level of power, or suction, in other words. The vacuum is not quite as intense on that one. So that is why that one's less expensive, okay, because you don't get as much suction out of it. Over here to the right of that is the one I have, the HydraMax 7, which has more power, all right. And I was, happy with, obviously, the results I got from that. So I do recommend that one. Now, you want, more suction and more power. That one off to the far right, the Hydro Extreme, just the normal Hydro Extreme as well as the Hydro Extreme Wide are going to be the options you're going to want to go with. But that's going to be a little more expensive. As you can see there, if you look down at the bottom, you can choose what color you want to get, blue, red, or clear. There is an option to get a wide version if you're already at a larger girth size. You can see right there in the middle that HydraMax 7 wide is for guys that are already at a slightly higher girth starting size. So that option is there as well. I don't know too many guys that have used that one, but it is available. So it's right there in the middle. And then if you are in that situation and you want more suction and a better vacuum, you're going to want to get the Hydro Extreme 7, because obviously that one, as you can see, has the highest power level. But yeah, these are the different pumps, guys. So it's very straightforward as far as what your options are here. You just, go to whatever starting size you're at. If you have not measured yourself with a tape measure, that's going to be step number 1, knowing where you are girth-wise and length-wise on your starting size. And from there, you'll just use that navigation menu at the top to make the decision on which one of these you want to go with. So, but yeah, I mean, the way they have this outlined, I think, is pretty simple. It used to not be this simple. They've done some changes to the site in recent years. So everything you want to know is basically right there. Okay, let's see. What else is there on here that I wanted to show you guys? yeah, the different colors. I've got the clear one, but you know, they've got those options there. And yeah, so if we go back up to this top navigation bar here, you know, again, you've got, if we go to this one size up from the one we were on, they only have 2 options on this one. Okay, you can still choose what color you want, but they've got the Hydro Max 9, the normal one, or the Hydro Extreme. Same thing we just saw on the other page. The Extreme comes with this pump right here and has a higher, you know, higher power level, so higher vacuum that it will create. But you know, same thing, Hydro Series, Hydro Max, and then the Hydro Extreme. The Extreme models have the you know, more intense power level. So if you're brand new to male enhancement, guys, I don't know that you would need to start with the Hydro Extreme. I mean, if it's something you're comfortable with, you can certainly do that. Again, there's no, it's completely safe. These pumps are all tested by Bathmate. You know, just keep in mind this company would be faced with serious lawsuits if there were ever any safety concerns as far as there being too much pressure on these things. But I did want to just poke around on this site here and show you guys, you know, how easy it is. What else was I going to show you on here? I think there was a couple more things. More things on here. Okay, so here it shows you, you know, how to use it. It has videos right here that show you how to put this thing on, how to wear it, how to get the most use out of it possible. So that's what this video shows you here. Yeah, so they make it very easy with those videos. Those videos helped me out a lot when I was learning how to use this thing. So those are there for you to watch. You can also read the instructions as well. But that's basically it, guys. I mean, like I said, I just wanted to kind of poke around on here and show you how to navigate that thing. But yeah, so that's about it as far as the website is concerned.